Glory to God in the highest, and peace to all men and women on earth. We are continuing our study of our Sunday school lesson. For some time, we've been in the Old Testament. The last 4 weeks, we were in Proverbs. But this week, we're going to go to the New Testament. We're still dealing with wisdom, for our subject is wisdom in action. But this week, we're coming from Matthew chapter 11. Our printed text starts at verse 7, but the groundwork goes back to the first 6 verses. John the Baptist, who had baptized Jesus and declared him to be the one spoken of to come, had found himself in jail and had not heard from Jesus. So John sent 2 of his disciples to find Jesus and to ask him a pertinent question. Art thou the one, or should we look for another? Jesus answered the disciples not by yes or no, but he said, go tell John what you have seen and what you have heard. The blind see, the lame walk, many miracles have been performed. Go tell John that. So after John's disciples left, Jesus then turned his attention to his disciples and the multitude who was there to hear him speak. Jesus says in verse 7, and as they departed, Jesus began to say unto the multitude concerning John, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, that wear soft clothing in the king's house. Jesus wisely answered and wisely spoke to the multitude who was there. He asked them, what did you expect from John? Did you expect some weakling? He's not a weakling. He did not want them to get the wrong answer about John the Baptist. He's not a weakling. People who wear soft clothing live in the king's house. So he didn't wear soft clothing. He had his own style of clothing. So Jesus turned his attention to the work of John rather than John's raiment, because he wanted the people to see that John was a prophet, and that when they went into the wilderness, they went to hear what John had to say and not to see what he had on. He goes further to say, but what went ye out to see? A prophet. And that's what you saw, was a prophet, one who had a message to give to the people. Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet, for this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare the way before thee. In the book of Malachi 3:1, we are told that there will be one who will come before Jesus, who will pave the way. He will be called the forerunner. John's mission was to introduce Jesus, and that is what he did. Verse 11 says, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding that he is least in the kingdom of heaven, is greater than he. Jesus wants them to know that John the Baptist has completed his mission, that he did what he was supposed to do, And he praises John the Baptist by saying, no man or woman born is any greater. But John will not get a chance to enjoy the kingdom because John came before Jesus. We who have come after, we will be the ones who will be able to enjoy and work in the kingdom. And from the day of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violence take it by force. There were those who believed that the kingdom would be overthrown by armies and other violent means. For some reason, there has always been a crowd who was violent and trying to overthrow the kingdom. But Jesus wants us to know that that is not the way. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John. John was the turning point. All of those prophets that we studied pointed us to Jesus. They talked about the future. John is in the now. Jesus is here, and he's beginning his kingdom. And it shall, if ye will receive this, which was come, Elias, which was to come. There were those who believed that John the Baptist was Elijah, reincarnated. But that's not it at all. He had the spirit of Elijah, not the presence of him. And then Jesus says, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. There are always those who will not hear. But he is telling us, we who have ears to hear, stop and listen to the word of the Lord and do those things which he has commanded that we do. And then he goes on to give us an example here. But whereunto shall I liken this generation? Is it like unto children sitting in the market and calling unto their fellows and saying, we have piped unto you, and you dance not. We have mourned you, and you have not lamented. There are some people who will not be happy with whatever we do or say. They want people to dance to their music. And there are those who follow Jesus who will not do that because we know that it is not of Jesus. And then he says, for John came neither eating nor drinking, and they said he was the devil. Then the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and behold, they said that he was gluttonous and participating with sinners. So Jesus wants us to know that in order for us to serve him, we have to not pay attention to all of the naysayers, and we have to wisely think about what we have been asked to do. Now, in our lesson today, we are told that we have a mission. Now, John had a mission. John the Baptist had a mission. His mission was to introduce Jesus. He did that. He suffered, but he still completed his mission. And John had questions. So just because we have questions, it doesn't mean we're not Christians. John the Baptist sent to Jesus for his answers, which lets us know that if we have questions, we need to go to Jesus in prayer and read his word so that we can satisfy our questions. Healthy doubt does not harm the truth. Just because somebody doesn't believe it doesn't mean it isn't true. But what we have to do is respond to doubt with truth. We must not let doubt ruin our relationship with Jesus. In this lesson today, Jesus lets us know that we who believe in him belong to God's kingdom and that we rate highly with him. You often hear us say, I'm blessed and highly favored, because we are. As Christians, we have a mission. John the Baptist did not seek the soft life. He sought to complete his mission. John the Baptist's mission was to introduce Jesus. Jesus said he did that, and he did it well. As we lead people to Christ, we must exercise a spirit of gratitude and humility. We have to always show thanks for what the Lord has done for us. We must display wisdom when we talk to people. We don't want to make people feel bad. We want them to understand what we're talking about. We also taught not to get caught up in appearances. Didn't matter what John wore. It mattered what he said. And we don't need to wait for other prophets, because John was the last of the prophets. Christ has already come. John prepared the soil, and Jesus planted the seed. So as we work to complete our mission, sometimes it seems like a lonely existence, especially during times like we're having now. And sometimes it seems like we're just the only one, as one of the prophets said to the Lord, I'm the only one that's working for you now. That might be the way that J.B. McKay felt when he asked this question: is there anyone to help us? One who understands our heart when the thorns of life have pierced them till they bleed. One who sympathizes with us, who in wondrous love imparts just the very, very blessings that we need. Is there anyone can help us when the load is hard to bear and we faint and fall beneath in alarm? Who in tenderness will lift us and the heavy burden share and support us with an everlasting arm? But he had an answer. He said, yes, there's one. Only one. The blessed Jesus, he's the one. When affliction pressed the soul, when waves of trouble roll, and you need a friend to help you, Jesus is the one. God bless you.